be a cylindrical base. It's going to have a red interior, and it's going to have a bunch of color on the outside and yellow-orange band on the rim. This is the clear glass that will be the inner skin of the base glass. It's a very colorless glass. It's a luxury glass. It's made for hand blowing. Though it's in the same category of glass as bottle glass is machine-made glass. That category is called soda lime. It's formulated quite differently. People refer to and mean sand. It's actually specific material, silicon dioxide, which is quartz. And then soda ash, lime, dolomite, fluorspar, feldspar, iridium, barium, arsenic, and manganese are in the clear glass. The white glass that I'm adding here has probably about 40% lead in it. It has a lot of fluorine in it. The fluorine is what's making it white. It also had a lot of arsenic in it before it was melted down. Arsenic is a fine agent. It makes big bubbles and take the little bubbles out of the glass. The arsenic all goes away into the atmosphere. Yeah, go ahead. Don't hold your hand up. Just yell.
Is gold to make the glass red?
Gold is used as a coloring. Actually, we've got some gold pink glass right here, some right there. Gold is a colorant that produces usually a pink color or a wine red color. The darkest reds are selenium or copper. You can get a red with gold, but you're using a fairly dense version of it. It's usually used in a paler version because you can get dark reds with the other colorants, which are cheaper. So yes, gold is used for a ruby. Gold is the reason that rubies are ruby color. Gold is the colorant in the ruby. The same colorant produces that color in glass. Silver makes ambers, yellows. It will also make blues or greens, opaque blues or greens. I'm adding glass that has silver in it now. I'm also adding glass that has chrome in it. The chrome makes a green color. In that pile, I had a bunch of mixed color: transparent green, opaque green, a bunch of amber and brown, several different ambers and browns. And you'll notice that they, again, like the red, when they get hot, almost all of them are disappearing. And later on, when they cool and hover in the right temperature range, they will stripe and develop in color. I added a little extra toward the tip. The end that's away from me will be the lower end of the piece. This one will be darker toward the bottom and paler toward the top. And that will be symptomatic of the way the color stripes, the way it develops. So what I'm adding now is some little chips, tiny little ones of opaque yellow, opaque orange, is that it will absorb almost anything. It's not a simple material, it's a complex material because each thing you add or leave out changes what the glass is. It changes how hard it is at any given temperature, it can change its color, it changes its transmissive qualities, how much light it will transmit and or absorb. It changes its diffraction, its refraction, the surface hardness when it's cooled, its viscosity at any given temperature range. All those things are changed by any addition or subtraction. Also, its expansion and contraction. That's really important because everything that goes together here has to have the same expansion because it's going to contract when it cools down. And this goes back to the question about sand. That is one of the most common mischaracterizations that happens about glass. People are told that it's made out of sand. That's a simplification, and it's a simplification that serves the purpose of taking something that's very complex and not having to talk about it. You just say it's made out of sand. Done. You don't have to talk about it. The reality is you can go to a university, and if you get a degree in glass chemistry, it's a 5-year degree, 2 years to study and get a degree in chemistry. Obviously, you're not taking sand That was never even remotely treated. That glass was hand blown, and it was thick on one side when it was made. That's symptomatic of the mold blowing process that they used to make it. When the glaziers would install it, they would always install it with the thick side down. So that's the way the panes are. That's the way they were when they were made. So when it's hard, it doesn't move. It has the silver in it, trying to bring up some blues and greens and cream tones. The glass that has the silver responds to an atmosphere where there's extra fuel. Fuel steals oxygen out of the glass, and it changes the color you see. It's used commonly. A lot of potters are going to use reduction effects. Of course, glazes are glass as well. Where I live, this is where Chris and I live. If you are a cook, look around this audience. There are plenty of people here that work in a kitchen. Some of them work in a kitchen at home. Some of them work in an industrial kitchen. Those kitchens are all more dangerous than a glass shop is, because you have hot oil and hot water there. Those liquids splash and they stick. And when they do, they will give you very, very bad burn. The surface of the glass right now is about 1600 degrees, and I just brushed my finger across it. I did it again, okay? My finger is not burned. The liquid contact is important. So the glass is slick, it doesn't stick. The quartz is the hardest material, so it's the one that's left last. And you get this beautiful white sand. Clear, actually. If you start to look at it, it's a little clear, water-soluble or very quickly water-degradable glass. Will not hold up. You can make a glass that looks like a glass, seems like a glass, fill it with water, and in half an hour it dissolves. So silicon dioxide and plant ash or soda ash alone don't work. You need a third ingredient to stabilize the glass, and that's lime. So lime, like the limestone that's here on the floor. Anytime you're combining materials, the smaller the particle size, the more readily the materials will want to the more readily they will want to combine. So you either grind things or heat them and to take one more reheat, and this last reheat will be to take the memory of the chill off the piece, and for the sake of